Fantasy football. Running backs. Action. Let's go. I am the Streak Master. First off, the main question everyone is talking about: what should we do with the number one pick? It seems like the question everyone's talking about every year. Honestly, this year, there's 4 different candidates, and I wouldn't hate any of them. My first pick is Adrian Peterson. I'm taking him over Charles. I'm taking him over McCoy and anyone else. Here's the reason. Vikings are going to be better this year. Their offense is going to be better this year. They're getting Norv Turner. Peterson's going to be used a little differently. He's going to be used a little more in the passing game, I believe. And he's just going to get more opportunities. This is going to be my more dynamic offense as well. Patterson's going to be used a little bit more. They're going to look different, and it's going to help Peterson. I know he's old. I know he has a ton of carries, but this is Adrian Peterson. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's the safest play, and he's my number one pick. Next up, I'm going with LeSean McCoy. I know Darren Sproles is there, but I don't think that changes much. McCoy is still going to get his touches, and the Eagles are still going to run a lot of plays. Easy pick right there, LeSean McCoy. Jamaal Charles is the number 3, but he's going number 1 for a lot of people, and you can't complain about it. Charles can be a number 1 pick. I'm just going with him at number 3. Again, these are... I'm making non-PPR plays here. These are 9 points per reception. So once we get into PPR, that changes things up. But for this segment, I'm doing non-PPR to make things really straightforward, really easy for my rankings. Can Jamaal Charles keep it up? I doubt he's going to get 19 touchdowns again. I doubt he's going to get 7 receiving touchdowns again. Those are pretty extreme numbers. I don't think he's going to reach them. He's going to fall off a little bit. But still, his numbers are going to be great. And the guy everyone's forgetting about is Matt Forte. He's going to be used a ton. Like Peterson, he is getting old. He has dealt with injuries. But we saw what he could do last year. And really, there's no reason why he can't do that again. With the type of passing offense that the Bears have, there's going to be plenty of holes to Forte to work in, as well as using him coming out of the backfield. Those are my top 4 running backs, my tier 1 running backs. It's a little harder to talk about tiers. Like I said, when there's PPR, things change. Things change a lot. Rankings change a lot. But looking off Fantasy Pros rankings, they have Charles 1, McCoy 2, Peterson 3, Forte 4. There's not many differences between our 2 lists. Not many major differences. There's plenty of minor differences. I'll say that much. The consensus has Montee Ball ranked really high, while I have him ranked fairly high, not number 7. I think that's a bit extreme. But for the most part, I'll get into it later, the guys that I don't want to draft. And that's around the 20 range or so. But I'm going to lay out 19 running backs that you want on your team. In any league you play in, I don't care how you draft, you want 2 of these 19 on your team. At least 2 of these. If you don't, you could be in for trouble. I'm going to lay out the 11 running backs. I want at least 1 of the top 11 running backs, and I want at least 2 of the top 19 running backs. So going through that list, I already talked about the 4, and going into tier 2 now. Eddie Lacy, Marshawn Lynch, DeMarco Murray, Arian Foster, Le'Veon Bell, Montee Ball, and Doug Martin. Sure, a lot of those guys have question marks. Eddie Lacy, he has a concussion issue. He has injury issue. It's Le'Veon Bell with the concussion issue. But both those new guys have great years, but injury prone. Marshawn Lynch, he's getting up there in age. Do we really think he can keep this pace up? I don't know. DeMarco Murray, can he back up what he did last year? It's another tough question. Montee Ball, can he hold on to the ball? If he doesn't fumble, Montee Ball could be a top 5 running back. There's no doubt about it, playing with Peyton Manning. Doug Martin, he's coming back from torn labrum. He's going to get the opportunity again to be the lead back in Tampa Bay. There's a very good possibility to be. So there's that. All these guys here, they have plenty of potential, but a lot of ifs about what they can do. But that's why it's tier 2. That's why there's a huge separation between tier 1 and tier 2. Right there, I still want at least one of these guys on my team. You know, if Doug Martin is my number 1 running back, I'm probably not too confident, but he still has the possibility of what he did in his rookie year. He still has that potential with him, and I think that's enough to have him as your number 1 running back. Same with the guy as Le'Veon Bell. Arian Foster, who knows what he's going to do. And really, if you get any of these guys, your next play is probably going to be a running back again. If you go with it, if you get a top 4, one of those top 4 running backs, maybe you can wait a little bit, and maybe you can go down to a tier 4, tier 5 running back as your number 2. But if you get one of these tier 2 running backs, I would suggest going the next round with a running back. So we're looking at Zach Stacy, Alfred Morris, Giovanni Bernard, all guys solid plays. Zach Stacy, I'm probably more worried about Alfred Morris. We'll see what he can do, but he is in a new offense. They're keeping the same scheme, but it is questionable here. You got to think the holes are going to open up for Morris, though, with the type of passing game that the Redskins are going to focus on. They got the receivers, so you got to think Morris will get those holes. He'll get those red zone touchdowns. So I'm still okay with that play. Giovanni Bernard, he's still on the upswing, and he's going to get more opportunities. He's going to get plenty of opportunities here with the Bengals. Zach Stacy, he is competition. Trey Mason will be competition for him, but he has the chance to fill in where he played last year, and there's no reason why he can't be as good as he was last year. So he'll get the opportunity right off the bat to show that. And the level right below those guys, they're probably getting less touches, and we don't really know what they can do. They have potential. Well, it's only for a couple guys. But Reggie Bush, Ryan Matthews, both those guys, they'll be limited in their touches. They're both going to be competing. Ryan Matthews, he's going to be competing with a number of other guys at the goal line. Danny Woodhead, they picked up Donald Brown for a reason. They're going to give him carries. So Ryan Matthews is going to he's going to be battling for carries. Reggie Bush, he's going to be battling Joyke Bell for carries. CJ Spiller, we've always wanted to do awesome. He hasn't really shown that yet. I think Fred Jackson getting older, this is the year to show it. Andre Ellington, everyone wanted him to get more touches last year. Supposedly, he's going to get more touches this year. Very possible. These guys, they have potential. Bush, Matthews, we know what they can do, but their touches are limited. So these guys are in the tier 4 range. And those are my top 18 right there. And there's one more play that it's probably my upset play, if you want to call it an upset. But tier 5 all alone is Joyke Bell. I think this guy can stay healthy. He's going to get touches. Not many people are rating him all that high. Sure, the Lions have all these options and whatnot, but I don't think we can forget completely about Joyke Bell with what he's done for the Lions. He just got a new contract as well. He's going to get touches. He's going to get receptions. They're going to use him down in the goal line. They don't want Reggie Bush getting hurt. Bell is the force, and he has a great percentage of scoring from inside the 20, from inside the 10, from inside the 5. He had 8 touchdowns last year. He still hasn't had a reception touchdown in the NFL, which is kind of surprising. But I'm okay with Joyke Bell as my number 2 running back, as funny as that sounds, because I still haven't mentioned a lot of other guys. As I go into tier 6 here, I'm going to list off guys that I don't really want on my team. Guys that I'm scared to take. Alright, I had Bishop Sankey here, but I'm taking him off that list. I might even consider moving Bishop Sankey to tier 5 along with Joyke Bell. But the rest of the guys, Rashad Jennings, I don't want him. Toby Gerhart, no. Frank Gore, no. Shane Vereen, no. Chris Johnson, no. Alright, I'm not saying all these guys are going to be busts. I'm just saying I don't want these guys on my team personally. Right now, we're looking at it. Look at these guys. Rashad Jennings, this guy consistently gets injured, and it's the Giants' backfield. We don't know what's going to happen. Rashad Jennings could fumble once, and he's going to be benched for the rest of the year. Toby Gerhart, I just don't want that guy on my team. First off, he plays for the Jaguars. Second off is Toby Gerhart. I don't want any part of that. Frank Gore, same situation as Marshawn Lynch, but Gore is a little more on the wrong end there. And the 49ers have so many other options that little by little they're going to be getting touches. Frank Gore is going to be going down. His stock is going to fall. And I think it's not going to be a great year for Frank Gore. He's getting up there. Shane Vereen, well, it's not that I don't like him, but he's almost an exclusively receiving only running back. Well, I think that's great. I'm okay with that in a PPR league. I don't want that in a regular league. So I'm probably going to stay away from him. Someone else is probably going to draft him before me. That's okay. Chris Johnson, new situation with the Jets. Definitely has a chance to be a solid play, but the Jets have a couple other options that they can use, and who knows what CJ is going to do. So there's doubts with that. And there's a few more guys that I don't like that I'm probably not going to take, like Ben Tate, Steven Jackson, Trent Richardson. At least the list keeps going down. But I don't want to make that list too long, because if I am stuck in a situation of where I only got one of the top 20 running backs for whatever reason, I'm probably going to be picking out one of those guys. Sleeper-wise, guys I like that aren't really getting rated too highly, they probably won't be starting in week 1. Although Ridley could be starting in week 1 for you. But I like Stephen Ridley. I think he's going to come back from last year. I know a lot of people are drafting Shane Vereen over him, and I just don't see it. I think Stephen Ridley, I don't know for a fact if he worked on his fumbling problems in the offseason. I hope he did. I hope he worked on them. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw his 2012 season. I think Stephen Ridley could be a great play if you draft him as the number 30 running back. I think he could finish top 20 easily. But then again, if he fumbles in the first 5 weeks, he's in the doghouse, and that's no good. The rest of these guys are more sleeper backup plays. Kadeem Carey, he's going to get touches. We already talked about Matt Forte. While he has been healthy lately, he's getting up there. I believe he's 28, and Kadeem Carey wouldn't be surprising to see him get a little more work throughout the year. Terrence West for the Browns. I've liked this guy since watching him at Towson. Guy is a beast. And Ben Tate as the starter running back for Cleveland. Can we count on him? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Can Ben Tate stay healthy? I think Terrence West he's gonna move in, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see some kind of split in Cleveland at running back. Andre Brown for the Texans. I know they're kind of a safe play, as Arian Foster, we don't know how healthy he's going to be. So that'll be something to look at, and Andre Brown will be the one to step in. It's not a great play, Andre Brown. Of course, he gets hurt often as well. But if he gets the opportunity to start with the Texans, I think he has room to impress with them, as do most running backs with Houston. Trey Mason, again, Zach Stacy. He's going to get the opportunity to be the lead back, but Trey Mason, I think, slowly but surely will get more carries throughout the year. And not a lot of people are getting credited to Pierre Thomas. Darren Sproles is gone. I know Pierre Thomas, he is getting a little bit older, but he's competing with Mark Ingram, Kyrie Robinson. I think he's going to still be that same consistent back that'll get you points every week. He's not going to put up duds. He'll get you points. He might even be more active in the receiving game, in the passing game. So you got that to look forward to, because you don't want Mark Ingram really coming out of the backfield as a receiver. So Pierre Thomas, there's no reason why he should be going that far down. He's getting drafted pretty deep there, and I think he's an option there, and not a bad play at all to be your flex running back or your RB3. And another one, Christine Michael for the Seahawks. Everyone knows Lynch is probably going to be scaled back with his carries, and that's where Christine Michael steps in. If this guy shows anything, given the opportunities early, you got to think that later down the year that Christine Michael will continue to get more carries. It wouldn't be surprising to see them split towards the end of the year as the Seahawks try and rest Marshawn Lynch a little bit. Try and hold back his carries so he's ready for the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised at all. See those two split carries towards the end of the year. So that's my rundown right there of the running backs. I gave you guys to stay away from. I gave you some sleepers, and basically a top 19 or 20. I want 2 of those guys on my team. Like I said, if you only get 1 of those guys, I mean, you're in the range of getting an iffy player that you don't know what he's going to produce. I think those top 20, top 19, top 20, they'll be a safe play for your RB1 and RB2. And again, if you don't have a top 5 pick, you're not getting one of those top 4 running backs, and you have to deal with the tier 2. So that means you're in the number 9, number 10, number 11 pick range. Maybe you can get a guy like DeMarco Murray and a guy like Le'Veon Bell, Arian Foster, even Doug Martin. Get those guys in the first 2 rounds. I'm completely fine with that. And then you have 2 solid running backs, and then you can look at quarterbacks, wide receivers. You're pretty set right there at running back. I wouldn't say set, but you're pretty in a good situation. If you go quarterback or wide receiver early right there, then you'll be looking at a guy like Alfred Morris maybe as number 1, and then you'll have to decide if you want Rashad Jennings, Toby Gerhart, or Bishop Sankey as your number 2. I'm not sure I want that. I like having the consistent running backs on my team, because you can always find the wide receivers that are going to come through. Wide receivers are incredibly deep. Quarterbacks are incredibly deep. Check out my previous pod of quarterbacks, and you can see that there's 14, almost 14 quarterbacks that you'd be okay with as your starting quarterback. So those positions are deep. You want to get your running backs early. You want to get solid on those 2 spots. If you wait on running backs, I don't like the situation. But even if you pass on the first round, you're still looking. Even if you get guys like a Reggie Bush or a Andre Ellington as your 1 and 2, that's fine. That's okay. Those guys have upside. Those guys, we know what they can do. You don't want Toby Gerhart as your number 2 running back. You just don't want that. You don't want Rashad Jennings. You don't want Frank Gore. I don't know. Maybe you do. I definitely don't. So, if you don't want to take my advice, sure, then you probably shouldn't be listening. But those are just my thoughts, and that's all I got. So, Streakmaster, running backs, and make sure to tweet at Bullish Sports 1 on Twitter. We will get back with you. We will put the questions on air. We will answer any kind of fantasy questions you have, any kind of betting questions you have. And fantasy football is getting ever closer. Thanks for listening. I am the Streakmaster. Peace.